investigation by the Associated Press found thousands of prison inmates in Connecticut have unrestricted access to some of the most violent and graphic books ever published. Convicted killer Stephen Hayes, his lawyers actually asked a judge to throw out the list of books he read behind bars before he was released and then murdered Jennifer Petit and her 2 daughters in 2007. The judge did throw that out, but now it's bringing it to the forefront. Should prisoners have a right to read whatever the heck they want? Connecticut State Senator John Kissel says no, and he wants the books taken off the shelf. But Randy Zellin is a defense attorney who says removing the books violates prisoners' First Amendment rights. And they join me for a fair and balanced debate. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Senator Kissel, let me start with you. So you were watching this trial closely with Stephen Hayes, as much of the nation was. It was a horrific home invasion. Your problem was that he was already in prison and then released before he did those murders. And he read a bunch of graphic, violent books. And when you found that out, you said, this has to stop.
Well, to be very honest, some of the books that he had access to had strange parallels to the actual home invasion and murders, for example, in Cold Blood. It strikes me as just common sense that folks that have a proclivity towards violence shouldn't have access to books that graphically depict violent crimes, true crime stories. I mean, I don't think that we want violent inmates to have Helter Skelter or The Onion Field or In Cold Blood as ready access so they could just sort of think about and fantasize about and then perhaps go out there and mimic those crimes.
Randy, how could you argue against that?
Well, I think it's very simple, quite honestly. It's not about the prisoners. It's about the Constitution. And here's your tie-in. The same way Judge Kaplan, I'm sure, wasn't happy about throwing out, not permitting the government to call a star witness in the embassy bombing. It's because of the Constitution. And here, a prisoner does not check his constitutional rights at the door. There is a right to expression. There's a right to free speech, which means there's a right to receive that free speech. And who is going to be the arbiter? Who's going to be the one to determine what's too violent? There's plenty of violent stuff in the Bible. Are we going to ban religious books? So in order to protect everybody, certain people who we may not be thrilled about protecting are going to be protected.
Senator, do you have any ideas about how you could rate books? I mean, movies have ratings. I'm thinking about that. We have G, PG, PG-13, R.
Sure.
Could you do that with books?
Absolutely. I've been in close contact with Commissioner Leo Arnone here in Connecticut. I'm trying to do this pragmatically and using common sense without necessarily passing legislation. What we're doing now is working with the executive branch to examine Federal Bureau of Prison policies, trying to learn what best practices are. My notion is what's good for Leavenworth should be good for the state of Connecticut. Some of these books may have had litigation behind them so that we know what the parameters are. But certainly we've decided that these inmates have committed crimes such that we've taken away their freedom to move about. They're incarcerated. I think limitations on what they have access to as far as books. There's so many books. Why not limit it to those that don't have
Randy,
talk about crime?
On its face, I gotta go with the state senator here. It seems to make sense. I mean, for example, prisoners, if they commit a felony, many times they can't vote again, right? I mean, don't we take away some privileges?
But we don't take all of them, and we don't take away the First Amendment. And the bottom line here, again, there are going to be people who are going to benefit, perhaps even unfairly. But a prisoner is a citizen. A citizen has constitutional rights. Everyone has constitutional rights. They have to be protected. And who, again, it's going to be Big Brother again. Who is going to determine what's appropriate, what's inappropriate? We are injecting too much government in once again. Okay. And what's going to be next? Are we going to stop you from reporting what you want to report because maybe it's too violent?
But let's our viewers make up their decision. Who's right on this whole debate? Let us know. Email us, foxandfriends.com. Senator Kissel and Randy Zellin, thanks for your time this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good morning.